to another episode of Nerds for Life SuperCoach. We're heading into round 3, and I'm making my first trades. Now, before we begin with the episode, I've got questions, I've got updates, I've got all these things heading into the round. But before we do that and get into that, I just want to please say, make sure to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube or on Spotify. Give us a like on Facebook, as well as Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, OnlyFans, X. It's Nerds for Life SC. Not OnlyFans, it's a joke, but Nerds for Life SC. And you'll be able to find all the updates there, SuperCoach and AFL related. All posts are here. And I've also got captaincy choices and questions. Question time. Now, just to put it out there, we've gained a few followers over the off season, so there's a few more questions than there usually are, but we'll try to get through them all. But first, let's begin with how the week went, and it was actually okay. An okay week for me. I shot up in rank, which was nice, by 5,500 places, which I was happy about. I think my team's actually looking kind of good. I really don't mind it. So I'm making 2 rookie correction trades myself. Shizu was a little bit frustrating because he didn't fire, even though North Melbourne did. I still think his role's fine, and I think everything's going to be fine with him. Lockie Whitfield comes back. He had the bye next week, so I'm looking forward to seeing him score again and, hopefully ton up. Jordan Clark's been fantastic to start off the season. Matt Roberts has been fantastic as well. He's on a bye this week, but was good last week with 115. O'Connell was better last week, but not great. Unfortunately, I had to have his score on field. But it actually did make my 18th. It was my 18th worst score. Trainer has not been great. Patton's on a bye. Zach Reed scored 36. So as you can see, that's why O'Connell's score actually made it on my field. Lockie Neal bounced back. He was my captain pick. Brayshaw has been good to start the year, but hasn't been amazing. Rosie, he's been fantastic. He was my VC. I actually didn't take it. So if you're following me on X and Facebook specifically, I didn't take Rosie's VC because I wanted to roll the dice. I went with Neil. Did technically score higher than Rosie. Just not a great deal higher. Oliver, massive, 130, great to see. Chera's been fantastic, by the way. As a mid-price selection, he's gone 106 and then 113, so I'm thrilled with that. I'm bringing in Nathan O'Driscoll and Lindsay this week, so no, they were not on my field. That's just the 2 trades I've made. And then I've got Mitch Nevitt, who, by the way, I know he only scored at 58, and some people are trading him out. I think that's premature because if you go look at his heat map, how many disposals he had, as well as how many CBAs he had, he's actually one of their main CBA guys. So I think that score was just due to some inefficient disposal. That should be a higher score. And I honestly think that's probably the worst score he's going to score. I can see some regular 70s and 80s coming out of him. Sorry, I just needed to take a sip of water there. Angus Hasty, I'm going to hold on to. He didn't play last week. He was dropped after round 1. But because Liam Stocker was injured in last week's game, there's a good chance that Hasty returns. And if he doesn't, then he's going to be my switch to Riley Bice next week because Bice is on a bye this week, so there's no urgency. I'm not boosting to get in a player that's not playing this week. So using DPP, Hasty will become Riley Bice. Camporelli, look, he's there to make money. Just keep him. He's good. Jack Henderson, I have already started. I think that he's a really good trade-in option. And Max Gawn, look, he had off-field problems. Didn't have a great game, but honestly, that's fine. Shit happens. Players have off-field problems. They have lives outside of AFL. That's all the time. I disagree that we should be trading him out. There's already 2,500 people that have traded him out. I think that's a bad call if you've started Max Gawn. Yes, Cherry is an amazing pick, but if you're trading out Gawn to get Cherry in, you must have nailed all your other picks because that is a luxury trade. Personally, I want to have Gawn and Cherry in my team by season's end anyway. And Cherry will be the flex, so I just got to save up for him. I just got to get him at a later date. Tom DeConning's been fantastic to start off the year. I'm hoping Harry Boyd gets back into the team. Jason Horn-Francis, we've had a lot of questions, about him, so I will get into him later. Isaac Rankin was a little annoying, subbed off on a 90 or 89 technically, actually got scaled up to a 97. Even though he didn't play that last quarter, he has no injury concerns. They just rested him because Essendon are poo-poo and they didn't want to risk one of their best players. Jack McRae is back, and as you can see, he is one of my C options for the week. Cal Daniel is back. Elijah Hewitt actually played pretty well, and he's getting more time on ground. I think he's one of the must-haves for the year. And when it comes to a rookie, I'm going to be talking about which rookies you need to be eyeing off for this week, and which ones you should have by the end of this week. Sam Davidson, great game, 72. Kako was disgusting. Unfortunately, was on my field and not Hewitt, so that was the opposite. Aiden Johnson, I hope, is back this week from suspension, and Sam Lawler absolutely sucked last week, but so did the Tigers. Actually didn't have a bad game. He actually went up to 43%. 43% CBAs compared to the week before, where he spent most of the game up forward and only had 2 CBAs. So his role is actually getting better. With the Saints, not as good as Port Adelaide's midfield, so I think that he should have a better score. If his CBA remember, he's coming back from a broken jaw, and he's scoring goals when he goes forward. If he can just get his hands in the footy a little bit more in the midfield, those scores can seriously go up. I'm holding Lawler. I don't think that trading him out is the option. Anyway, let's begin with some of the absolute must-haves leading into round 3. Now, this is when price rises mostly happen. Yes, there were some price rises last week, but those price rises were really on primos because the rookies we didn't really have any rookies that were on the bubble last week, because Ben Patton, for example, didn't play. Leake didn't play. A few guys like that just didn't play. Now, this week we've already got some injury news. Connor O'Sullivan is not as big of a lock because Tom Stewart has avoided serious knee injury. Bailey Smith is a potential in as well, but is still being monitored. Isn't necessarily a player that we're going to be getting back. And Elijah Tsartzis has broken his hand and will be out for the next 2 weeks. Now, if you've caught my tweet post now, I think it's it's a post. There it is. I am trading out Tsartzis. I think Tsartzis needs to go. Absolutely needs to get the fuck out of your team. And I know that we've got some questions on him, but I just want to start off with, I think that's it. It's done. He was getting really low time on ground. Yes, it went up last week and he scored a 78, but still had below 60. I think it was below 60% time on ground. Darcy Parish and Will Setterfield have been listed as tests for this week. They need to win this week against Port Adelaide. They're going to throw everything at Port Adelaide because for some reason Brad Scott thinks that they're not rebuilding. They certainly are, but that's fine. So he is going to give everything, and honestly, I can see both Will Setterfield and Darcy Parish come back into the team, or at least one of them. Maybe the other one goes back through the VFL. But that means that Elijah Tsartzis' role might not be there after their bye. So he's out for 2 weeks and he might not be coming back. I think that with the cash generation you're going to want to secure, I would be trading out Tsartzis for someone else. And I'm going to be going into some of those players right now. Maybe later. I just wanted to show you my trades for the week actually first before I get into that. So I'm trading out Tsartzis, as I mentioned, and Finn O'Sullivan. He doesn't have the role. The role that he had in the practice match, which was that halfback role in the second half, is just not there. He doesn't look great. He really just doesn't. Just get him out of your team. Seriously, get him out of your team. His break even is horrible. His break even is 19. Like, he can legitimately just not hit that this week. So just get him out of your team. I am so pissed off at myself because I had Nathan O'Driscoll in my team all preseason, and in round 1, during round 1, I got rid of O'Driscoll and put in Finn O'Sullivan because I thought that Finn O'Sullivan might have that half-back position that McKercher had and Sheasel had in seasons gone by, and I thought that's juicy and it's going to be points. and he's completely potatoed it up. So, unfortunately, that didn't work out. It is what it is. I need to make a trade now, and I'm going to bring Nathan O'Driscoll into my side. It doesn't matter that he's not getting CBA actions because he just scored a 95 off not having any CBAs. He had CBAs the week before when he scored a 90 odd. Honestly, get this guy in. His break even is low, and then just do it. Also, he's got the best buy during the buys. So his mid-season buy is the best one. You could hold him for the whole buy period, get some decent scores, and then like piss him off after the buy period in mid-year. Xavier Lindsay is the other one I think is an absolute must-have. Absolute must-have. And because Elijah Tsartas is injured, I'm going to be jumping on him. He was a guy that was floating in and out of my team throughout the summer. I am upset that I didn't start him because, as I said, I had been, I had been eyeing him off throughout the summer. But I did run out of cash. I really did want to start him. I just ran out of cash, and I had to go with some cheaper options in the midfield. So like a Jack Henderson, who a lot of people are trading in this week, I started him instead, purely because I ran out of cash. I also have way too many Melbourne players for some reason right now. Like I've got Henderson, Aiden Johnson, Lindsay, Oliver, and Gawn in my team. I didn't realise that I had 6 Melbourne players, but I do. And that, is it 6? Was that 5? That's 5. I can't count, apparently. That's fucked. I don't think I've ever had so many Melbourne players in my team. That's concerning. That is really concerning. But also, I just think that they're all great options. So I understand, obviously, they're not long-term options. They're just good options. 2 of them are. Moving on to this. So these are the rookies that are absolute must-haves. These are the guys. Now, by the way, I made this post at 10:30 p.m. or 10:31 p.m. on March 23rd, which is on Sunday night. So a couple of these that you can see on your screen right now are players that have had some injury updates, like an Elijah Tsartas. So you can just ignore him from that list right now. The absolute number 1 is Nathan O'Driscoll. As I mentioned before, if you do not have Nathan O'Driscoll, you will need to get Nathan O'Driscoll in. He's going to make a shit ton of cash and actually score some decent scores on the field. Connor O'Sullivan I put as number 2, but I actually think that he is not a must-have anymore. And the reason being is because at the time of posting this, I thought that Tom Stewart was out long-term. Colin Jasny has just been named as a 1 to 2 weeker in the updated injury report. With Tom Stewart being a test and potentially being back this week, if not next week, and then Colin Jasny maybe being back next week, the week after, it means that Connor O'Sullivan, yes, he had a great game. Yes, he got the Rising Star nomination. It does not mean his spot is secure in the side. And that is my concern. So I'm not boosting a player in. I'm not boosting a player in who might be out of the side in 2 weeks. I'm just not doing it. But, however, if you're unlike me and you were intelligent and you started Nathan O'Driscoll as well as Xavier Lindsay, and you have all the other rookies that are on my list, and the only one you are currently missing is O'Sullivan, then I am not opposed to you bringing him in, but I wouldn't be boosting to bring him in. It would just be a straight-off trade. Then that's okay. That's okay. If that's your only trade for the week, that's fine. That's fine. But for me, myself, I'm not boosting it to get him in. Xavier Lindsay, absolute must-have. His break-even is negative 72, I believe. 75, even better. He's expected to go up by 65k. Has had 2 really good scores, and he's got the Suns, who aren't typically a tough team to score against, 86 and 78. He's also got West Coast and Richmond coming up too, and Essendon and Geelong, all teams that can concede big scores in the midfield. He looks amazing, but he's also playing a little bit at half-back, so he actually could get DPP in 3 weeks. If he gets DPP in 3 weeks, you could chuck him into half-back, because we've got a depletion in defenders at the moment. We have Riley Bice coming in next week, but Lindsay could be an option there, and he could actually be a better option to hold in defence than an O'Connell. And remember that Kitty Coleman's another guy that we're going to be wanting to get in the next few weeks as well. So, look, I don't know. I don't think not O'Connell. Sullivan is a must-have. I just don't think he's a must-have. I think that he's maybe a luxury trade in if you can. He'll make you some coin, but I'm just worried that his spot on the side is just not there. Mitch Nevitt, I've mentioned him before. He didn't have a great score, but his break-even is a negative 56. He did have an 82 in round 1, I believe. Yes, he did, which was a good score. Has some tough opponents coming up, but he's got the CBAs. He should score decently. So he should just be on your radar. I'm actually pretty confident that these are the 3 best midfield rookies right now. If you've got all 3 on the field, that's great. That's just amazing for you. Moving forward, Jack Henderson, don't have him on your field. He's a basement price rookie. I think that he's a must-have because he's a basement price rookie. He's scoring okay. His VFL scores numbers are amazing. He's playing a little bit out of position. His spot on the side isn't necessarily secured, and there is Cosy coming back soon. But also, look, he's playing well. If he's playing well, they keep him. It really depends on what Melbourne do this week as well. As a basement price player who's about to have a price increase, I think that he is a really good option because he should make cash. He's got a break even of 71. He's going to go up 50k. So if he can hold his spot on the side for a little bit longer, he can make you 100k real fast. And there's not many basement price options out there right now. Boyd's played 1 game. Edwards from Essendon has played 1 game. But Edwards plays maybe this week. And then he's got a bye next week. So you wouldn't be looking at Edwards until after his bye anyway. And he's a forward. So this is really the cheapest midfielder available in the game. So you might be able to do something with the cash. Which is why he's number 5. Elijah Hewitt, his time on ground really improved. So his time on ground in round 1 was quite low. His time on ground in round 2 was higher. His CBAs are there. He's getting some forward time. He's got a lot of talent. He's got DPP. His spot on the side's not changing. West Coast actually had a pretty good game on the weekend. I think that he is a must-have because of all those reasons. He's got the DPP. He's got a good role. His time on ground's increasing, which means his scoring potential should also increase. Sam Davidson, I've put him there under Hewitt because of how bad his round 1 score was. But a 72 against Collingwood is actually a decent opponent to be scoring a 72 against. He's playing Carlton coming up. He's got Fremantle and Brisbane in the next 3 as well. Look, his draw's a little bit difficult, but he seems to be getting a wing role as well as forward action. The kid can play. He was one of the VFL's best players last year. Honestly, I can see scores in the early 70s being consistent. So I'd be really prioritizing a Sam Davidson. If you don't have him and you've got the other guys, if you can get 9 out of these 10 players, you've done well. You've really done well if you can get 9 of these 10 players. Now, I put Levi Ashcroft below these guys, and there's a reason why I've put him below these guys. He's got more scoring potential than a Davidson, Hewitt, and Henderson, and even really a Nevitt. But his role in the side is still sketchy enough. He is a sub-vest risk. He just is. It's just the way it is. I think he's a really good player. I just think that with other midfielders like Nathan O'Driscoll and Lindsay and Nevitt being higher up on the priority list, in my opinion, and even Henderson because of his basement price, I think that if you haven't started Ashcroft, you only be trading him in if you've already got the other guys that I've mentioned and you've got the spare cash. But at the end of the day, if you've got O'Driscoll, Lindsay, and Nevitt, I just want to know where Levi Ashcroft is. If Levi Ashcroft is on your bench, or even if Nevitt's on your bench, I just feel like you're not getting the best out of your midfielders on field, and you could be using that cash elsewhere. Look, I'm just not sold. He is a good option. I'm fading him for the year, unfortunately. He's got a break even of negative 52. He's got a decent draw coming up with Geelong and Richmond. But at 84 and 72, you're getting roughly the same scores out of Lindsay and better scores out of O'Driscoll, and only marginally worse scores out of Nevitt, who's cheaper, 50k cheaper. So, 40k cheaper. So, you kind of have to weigh up. I think that these three are better options for those reasons. But still, popular pick, and I get it. I really do get it. And that's why he's made my top 10. He's made the top 10. Sartis obviously is injured, so he's no longer in there. I think Sam Lawler is in that 10 bracket. I know that he's expensive, but he himself has a break-even of 1, so he should definitely hit that unless something happens. He should go up at least 20k this week, which will be good. His draw's not too bad. He's got St Kilda, who aren't a midfield to necessarily struggle against. Brisbane Freo are a little bit tough, so he's actually got a top 10. But then it starts to ease up for him around 9, 10, 11, which I know is a little bit far away. But because he's playing so much up forward, he can actually go into your forward line later, and he can start making you money later. So he will be a slow burn, but I think that there will be some good scores out there. He's shown us that he can score well, and as that CBA role increases, I think that his floor will be higher than that 39. So I think that his on-field scores will actually be okay, especially if you could chuck him at, F6 in 3 weeks' time. So just keep an eye out on that, because he is getting there to be a DPP. Speaking of DPP, I believe that Horse from Insight F Sports, yes, here it is. These are the guys that are looking like getting DPP, by the way. So we've got Chad Warner, who's currently in the line for getting forward DPP. Nick Martin, who potentially could get midfield or forward. Stephen Canelio could become a mid-forward. James Peatling could become a mid-forward. That is disappointing for everyone that has started James Peatling. Levi Ashcroft could get mid-forward, and if he does get forward eligibility, that is going to really be one of those players that I am going to say that I missed out on, like genuinely, if he gets mid-forward, because having a Levi Ashcroft in your forward line as a rookie would be pretty good. So I still don't want to boost to get this guy in. I just don't want to boost to get Levi Ashcroft in. It is tempting though. It is very tempting. Sam Lawler. As I said, if you're tossing up between Lawler and Ashcroft, I'd be getting Ashcroft in. It's more like if you've already got Ashcroft and you're just looking for another rookie, Lawler's a pretty good option. But again, Lawler's in the same position. Boak mid-forward, Will Phillips mid-forward, Sparrow mid-forward, and Ross mid-forward as well are all players that are looking to get DPP. So hopefully a few of those guys get forward status, especially the ones that are getting forward status. And we can move guys around because, Levi Ashcroft and Sam Lawler in your forward line is going to look way better than Elijah Hewitt and Sam Davidson in your forward lines. Now, moving on to my captaincy choices. Now, these are the guys... that was 9, of course. The other guy who didn't make my list because, again, Sartis was injured, but he wasn't injured, is Jacob Constantine. Now, this is someone that I kind of wish that I could get, but I don't want to boost to get him again. He's got a negative 43 break-even. This is a talented player. This was a guy that was Sydney's first draft pick a couple of years ago. Didn't make it at the Swans. Played 2 seasons without playing an AFL game. Moved on to North Melbourne. Has played the first 2 games. He's got a break-even of negative 43, and he's projected to go up by 35k. His first game, he did really well. Really well. And his scoring was a little low, like a 74, but he played really well. The 36 is actually pretty low compared to how well he played. He was pretty decent on the weekend, but that score does not reflect it. Honestly, I really don't mind this guy. If you've nailed all your rookies, and you're like, I just need another guy sitting at F8, I am not opposed to bringing in like a Jacob Constantine. I really am not. I wish that I had Jacob Constantine. I tried to get him. I got Kako purely because of the midfield forward rotation that I can have. But I really wanted him, but I couldn't afford him. I was like a K off or $500 off or something. So I had to go with Hayden Johnson instead, unfortunately. So, I really rate the guy, but he'd be 10th. He'd be definitely 10th on my list. So there you go. My best captain and vice captain options for the week. Now, as you can see on screen, if you're watching this on YouTube, Connor Rosie against Essendon. Now, I just want to go into it. Has been on fire this season. He's got 128 and 130 in his first 2 games. That 130 was quite low compared to how well he played. He gave away some really stupid free kicks. That 130 could have been a 150, honestly. But it is what it is. He is a very good VC option. He went 152 last year, and I watched that game. He was amazing. And then he went 141 and then 104 in the 2 games he played prior to that. Essendon are bleeding points in the midfield. You've just got, like, I think that and it's Thursday. You could potentially have your captain locked in by Thursday night. So, honestly, I'd be going Rosie as your VC, and then Jack McRae as your captain. He's got a negative 69 break even. That's insane. That's insane. He's going to go up like 80k at least this week. Like, probably more. He might even go up 100k this week. It's fucked. He's playing Richmond, okay? His last 2 against Richmond, his last 3 against Richmond have not been good. But remember, this is because he was bevoed and chucked in the forward pocket, okay? Or half forward or whatever. He's just come off 127, 162. He looks like St Kilda's best midfielder. He is currently St Kilda's best performing midfielder. He just is. If for some reason Connor Rosie doesn't go off against Essendon, like Essendon, they pop off, they win, whatever. Rosie gets locked down. He scores a 110. Jack McRae is the option. He really is the option. I can see at least 130 going out of a Jack McRae. I'm actually tempted to put a VC on Jack McRae. My only issue is, who do I captain after Jack McRae? The only one that, like, I don't know, who AFL.com.au. So these are the people who's the fixture. Who would you... So if you're wanting to VC Jack McRae because you think he's going to go nuts, they play 4:15 on the Saturday. You could go Lachie Neale or Josh Dunkley. Lachie Neale does not have the best record against Geelong, but like, I just want to show you this. Lachie Neale has gone 109, 108, 128 in his last 3. It's not bad. It's not amazing. Isaac Rankin does not have an amazing record against North Melbourne, but his form is different. 113, 109, 102. It's good. You could go a Rankin, but I think he's more of a VC option anyway. You could go a Brayshaw or a Sarong. For me, Brayshaw against North... Yeah, West Coast, he went 137 last year, but his 2 before that were kind of low. How did Sarong go? Caleb Sarong, not Jai. He's got 111, 117, 146. It's pretty good. Then you've got, who was the other one that I was talking about? Dunkley, who I don't have. Kind of wish I started Dunkley and not Lachie Neale. Would have saved myself 43k as well. Doesn't have a great record against, actually has a really bad record against Geelong. 98, 115, 66. Nope. That's a nope. For me, no. Yeah, it's really tough. That's the problem. The problem is the Sunday game, the Sunday games and the Saturday night games aren't presenting a lot of captaincy choices. So if you fade like Connor Rosie, you go with the Jack McRae, you don't have much after that to go with. So you have to be kind of confident that Jack McRae is going to go off the chain against Richmond, which he very much could do. But I just want to point out that Richmond haven't been bleeding points to midfielders like they previously have. Like I just want to show you, like Connor Rosie, yeah, he went 130, but it's not incredible. It's a good game, really good game, but it's not like insane numbers. And then before that, Patrick Cripps, I think he only scored like a 121, which is not insane either. 120. So, and he was their best scorer for the night midfielder-wise. So they're not bleeding a lot of points from the midfield. They are actually tagging a little bit at the moment. They've got McIntosh. I mean, he's not the best tagger. He's not a James Jordan or a Bedford. But he is restricting the scoring a little bit. At least a little bit. I don't know if Jack McRae goes 162 again. So, look, keep it on Connor Rosie. I do like a McRae. And he will be my captain choice if Rosie doesn't do amazing. But I think that Rosie is a better pick still as a VC because I don't like the games after that. I just don't. So question time. Now, I will not be reading them off the screen because some people don't want to appear on screen. And, well, that's what I've been told anyway. So I'm just going to go off my phone and take a look. So I'm going to go to X first. And I've got Tom Keating right off the bat. Is it worth bringing in Fraser and Bowery for Leak? Bowery. Jake. I'm assuming he means Jake Bowie. Oh, he's got a -3 break even. He started the season off with a 96-97. It's a POD, yes, definitely. For Leak and Sheasel knowing they're unlikely to be final team players. Why is Harry Sheasel not a final team player? No, I don't like this trade at all. I'm going to be honest. I don't think Fraser's going to be a guy that you want to trade into. I can't see him being a top 8 defender or even a top 10 defender. The only time he scores really well is when Bevo puts him in the midfield, and that's usually for 1 quarter at a time. If you actually look, a 3/4 time last week, he was on a 50. He actually scored really well in the last quarter because of his midfield time, and Bevo's not playing him a great deal in there. Bowie, look, he started well, but let's be honest, I don't think he continues that. And he isn't turning up either. You're getting rid of Harry Sheasel, who's seriously... He's had 1 average game. And 81 is his lowest score. He scored 106 before. This is the kind of guy that everyone was jumping off last year. And he really made people suffer after they traded him out. I don't like that trade at all. Sorry. Mark Robertson. Which line should be first filled out to stem the low scores? Yeah, defense. Mate, you need to... that is my first... Defense needs to be fixed, like, ASAP. My defense is shit. But I think my top 4 are actually pretty good. The problem is I'm leaking points because I started both Whitfield and Roberts, who are biased. I think Bice is going to fix that, personally, next week. So I think Bice will go into there. But you need another primo defender. Tom Stewart is on my radar. Turned up in the first week. Scored a 9, which means his points are actually bleeding. He's going to be bleeding cash. He could be 420k within the next couple of rounds, while that 90 is his 3-round average. So keep an eye on him because he could be a steal, especially if he starts scoring, low tons again. There are other options as well. I don't think Fraser is the option. I think Fraser was one of those guys that we should have started. And if you didn't, you've missed out on him. That's fine. I wouldn't be trading into Fraser personally, but I think Stewart is someone to really consider, definitely. And yes, it is your defense. I think that the 4 defenders that I have plus Sinclair are going to be the top 5 forward defenders personally. That's what I think. So Sinclair is definitely one that is like on my radar. I really want to get the guy in. Jimmy, out of Libba and Rosie, who would you say is the smarter option long-term leading into round 12 bye, considering their team's injuries and their roles on the team? Rosie started on fire. Libba has started on fire. Rosie's the captain and much younger, while Libba, he's got the main role now, but Treloar and Bontempelli are coming back. Yes, Butters is coming back, which will affect Rosie, but going by draw as well, Port Adelaide's draw is a bit softer too. I would say Rosie is the one. Lib, where is he? He's also cheaper. than Liberatore. So I think Rosie's the better pick. Lachlan Spurturi. I've butchered that. What do you think is better? A 4 rookie midfield and 1 rookie defense on field versus 3 rookie midfield and 2 rookie defense on field? For the first option, 4 rookie midfield and 1 rookie defense, definitely, with the shit defenders that we have. And hopefully that last defender is Riley Bice for you next week. Lachlan, you've asked 2 questions. What POD midfield player can you upgrade to from Will Day? That you can be weapon and be point difference. Callahan. I think Callahan. Yeah, if you can get to Callahan, that is one way to go. I can see him being GWS's second best scoring midfielder. I could see him averaging 110 for the year. Genuinely could. If I hadn't started Chera, who's averaging 109.5 already, I would be all over Callahan. But I went with Chera instead because I just didn't want 2 Giants players in my team. But I think that Callahan is definitely someone that you should be considering heavily. Moving on to Facebook, let's see what questions there are there. Just jumping in. Okay, we have some questions. Oh my god. All right, the SuperCoach co-captains. Oh my god. All right, let's take a look. What's your go-to biscuit of choice, Pato? Mate, the every biscuit, honestly, like, fucking all of them. Just, I risk it for the biscuit, all of the biscuits. What would you rather have, Jordan Ridley's injury likelihood or Ben Patton's job security, Dano? Fuck off. Both of you. This is for all the years I put smartass comments in your questions. I would never, you know what? I'd have Ben Patton's job security. Fuck Jordan Ridley. That is a never again, ever. And I said this on your podcast. Never again, ever. Kenny, thanks guys. Kenny first. Could Riley Thilthorpe be a watch as an option for F6 or flex? What's the upside looking like? A solid forward player, mid forward. Look, I actually like Thilthorpe, but I think that he's more of a draft option. Has scored well. I know that he started the season kind of well, like 99, 97. The problem is that's probably his ceiling. And he's done it twice. I like it at 370k, but your team better be pretty good. Like, if you started him, he's one of those guys like a Joel Frazier. If you started him, good on you. But I don't know about trading into him. Your team should be if your team's flying and you're in like the top 10 and you're like, I've nailed everything. I've just nailed absolutely everything. I don't hate it. But definitely as a draft option. He's definitely a great draft option. Troy Marshall. Thoughts on trading Perryman, Jason Horne-Francis, and Stewart for Whitfield, Rosie, and Lindsay, and having 197k left over. With Butters out, I expect Jason Horne-Francis to play mid-roll. Cannot see his role improving in the near future. Here's the thing, I can. His role actually was good round 1. It's just that he got tagged and he got frustrated. Round 2, he was playing Richmond. I don't think Port Adelaide took Richmond seriously. He also took a few marks in the forward line, like in the goal square, and handballed them off. He gave away dumbass free kicks. Like, that 61 is probably his worst score of the year. In reality, he slots that goal instead of handballing it off. He doesn't give away those stupid free kicks. He'd be in the 80s, which is probably fine. It's not amazing, but it's probably fine. Like, he's probably, at this point in time, I know there are players like a Chad Warner who could get forward status, but even if Warner does get forward status, Horne-Francis is probably a top 6 forward anyway. Perryman needs to go. He does not have the role. Stewart, he turned up and then he got injured for a week. He could be back this week. Why are you trading out Tom Stewart? I don't think that's a good move at all. I'd be trading down Perryman to Lindsay, yeah. If you... I don't know the rest of your team personally, but I wouldn't be trading out Tom Stewart. Jason Horne-Francis, he could go, but I could see him playing Essendon and scoring quite well. I remember last year... sorry. My God. I'm like dying. I need some water. Hang on. I'm so sorry. So Rankin didn't have a role until round 5. He played forward for 4 games. I traded him out, and then he got the role in round 5, and then he went on a tear. I don't want to do that this year. I'm playing more conservatively. I don't want to burn through trades. I don't want to trade out primos who are playing. I'm just going to hold him. I wouldn't be trading out Tom Stewart. Brian Robert. Yeah, Brian Ristenberg. What day is Xmas this year? The 25th. Bray Lucav. Will Perriman get different role? He was playing midfield in the practice matches. What has happened and can't get a kick? Everyone trade him, get him out of the team. He doesn't have the role. Bill Fajol, Fraser or Chera. Personally, I think I don't know why we're trading into these guys, personally. I don't like trading into mid-prices who aren't keepers. Neither Fraser or Chera, I think, are keepers. I think Chera could be potentially a decent M8, M8 by season's end, potentially. But I actually got him because of his early season draw and the fact that he was very much underpriced. I wouldn't be trading into Chera because of his injury history. He could get injured this week, like genuinely. Fraser, I can't see being a top 8 defender. I wouldn't be trading into any mid prices unless I think that they're keepers. I think like a Finn Callahan should be higher on your list. Tate Fuller. Hello, Tate. Perriman up to date. Perriman up to Dale or down to Fraser. I think you know my answer. Up to Dale. Josh Samut. Nick Martin POD or Bailey Dale, Zorgo or Holt. I don't mind Nick Martin. Bailey Dale. Look, I don't think Bailey Dale could be a top 8 defender, possibly, but he is up and down. His scoring can be up and down. At the moment, Zorko has a really good start to the year. Zorko from that list. Pat Gardner. Hi, mate. Even though I think Will Ashcroft is going to score well for me at M5, should I sideways trade to Finn Callahan, who is about to make bulk cash and Will isn't? If you think that Will Ashcroft's going to score well, then I have a question. Do you think Will Ashcroft is going to be a player that you want at M8 at season's end? If so, don't trade him out. Finn Callahan, if he is a player that you want at M8, trade him in. You're only going to do a sideways trade, in my opinion, if you're trading into a person that you want for the season. And that's just my opinion. That's how I'm going to go about it. If you think Will Ashcroft's going to do well, then why are you trading out a player that you think is going to do well? Because then you're going to be trading out. That means you plan on trading out Finn Callahan. So you're kind of banking 2 trades there. I mean, I've done that, yes, with rookies, but I'm spending 158k and I'm actually banking 40k because I've gone down from an injured Satsis. You know what I mean? I don't think Finn O'Sullivan's going to score well. I think Nathan O'Driscoll is. So that's why I'm doing sideways trades. But you're sideways trading from a player that is going to do well in your eyes. I don't think it's a good option. Matt O'Brien, better to spend the money, take the points, and still have money growth in Fraser, or total cash upside in Jack Henderson and spend the money elsewhere. If the opposite goes well, not saying next week is too late. I personally think that you trade down to rookies, get more money that way, and bank cash for next week. Bice or O'Sullivan, I think that it's Bice next week. I think that he's got a better role, as well as better job security. And better scoring potential. But I wouldn't be doing it this week. Wait till next week. It's a long week. You don't know. He could get sick. He could get injured at training. He could get dropped. In theory, technically. You don't know. Rob Kennedy, Satsis versus Finn O'Sullivan debate. Who to hold and who to trade. Trade both. I'm doing both. Just Get them both the fuck out of your team. Mac Champion, short up to Zorko and a Henderson cheap rookie, or down to SDK, which helps Tatsis to Callahan. Ooh. Do you know why? I actually don't mind SDK and Callahan here, because I think you're going to get better overall points. But the only time that you do that is if you believe that both Callahan and SDK are season keepers. If you think they're season keepers, do that. But if you don't, Zorko could be a season keeper, and therefore go with Henderson to make cash. But Short's about to play St Kilda, who bleed points to halfback, so he actually could have a really good game. So just keep that in mind too. Fraser, SDK, and Y. I wouldn't be going Fraser. SDK I would prefer, because SDK... sorry. Actually, I don't like either of them, because SDK could go back to fullback. But if he keeps this role, he could get a ruck DPP, so he could help you in the later end of the year. If you need to make the trade, Adam Nelson. If you need to make the trade, I'd be going Fraser, because Scott is literally one level down from a Bevo. Fuck, you're choosing between Bevo or Chris Scott. I hate both these options. I'm gonna be honest, I hate both these options. Like, go Callahan or Chera. Calvert, Jaeger, is Fraser worth trading for Perryman? No, I don't think he is, because he's had 2 really good scores, yes, but most of those scores have come back from 1 quarter of game. I don't see him being a keeper. Maul Clarkey. Hello. Peatling role. Hold Jason Horne-Francis. Don't like Peatling's role. He's playing too much forward. Jason Horne-Francis is also playing too much forward. But I'd rather save a trade, because I think Jason Horne-Francis' scoring is higher. So I'm holding myself. Lewis Grigg. Should I change my backline structure and turn Perryman and Short into Zorko and O'Sullivan for 3 defensive rookies on field, or go a bit cheaper with Dale and Fraser and have 2 rookies on field? Ooh. I don't like O'Sullivan's job security, so you could potentially be banking another trade in 2 weeks. But less rookies is better. Less defensive rookies is better. Look, maybe go to Zorko and O'Sullivan and then try to get a Riley Bice next week, so you go from 3 to 2 next week on field, is what I would do in your particular situation, because less Bevo players is always good. O'Driscoll or Ashcroft. Fuck, we did talk about this earlier. I'm going O'Driscoll because of the scoring potential, but Ashcroft also might get DPP forward. So, tough one, but O'Driscoll. Is round 3 too early to delete my team? Kane Daniels. No, I was tempted to do mine after round 1. Bates Troy. Should I fix the Jason Horne-Francis, Garcia, and Short problems, or trade for cash generation? Keep Jason Horne-Francis. Get Garcia the fuck out of your team, and Short as well. But Garcia is playing a Richmond midfield this week, so could actually score okay. And Short could score okay against St Kilda as well. So I don't know the answer to that. It could just be an annoying week. But honestly, I think keep Jason Horne-Francis, trade the other 2 out for cash generation. I think that's the way to go. And try to get an upgrade elsewhere moving forward. And that's it. They're all the questions. Thanks so much, guys, for asking away. That's it for me for the week. I'll be back same time, same place next week. Please make sure to subscribe. Like us on all our socials. It's Nerds for Life FC. And thank you for watching.